Hey everybody, welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson, and today is a beautiful, sunshiny Arizona day, and I'm excited just to come to you. There's so much pain, fear, doubt, everything in the world, like the world's falling. Guys, I'm here to tell you, not today. Not today for you on this podcast. We are going to talk about hope, ambition, drive, everything about the mind, because I'm going to tell you right now, today, more than ever, mindset matters. What you feed your brain each and every day is a direct result of how tomorrow is going to show up. And you've got to do this on the daily. It has got to be ingrained in you that you want to win so bad. And that drive inside you keeps you focused. And it keeps you on the goal, the path. And my friends, that is why I have my next guest getting ready to show up. I'm going to introduce him here in a minute. Because we've got a really good show for you today. You're not going to want to miss this one. Before I do that, though, I gotta talk about a couple things happening in Kahuna world that I absolutely think you should know about. Number one, if you've not done so, if you'd like to learn how to get involved in Kahuna deals, right, to be able to see them and maybe potentially invest in them, the only way that can happen is we have a pre-existing substantive relationship. And the only way we do that is we have a detailed process. To start that process, you've got to go to kahunainvestments.com, and click in Get into the Kahuna Deal Room. And we're going to ask you like five simple questions, and that will start a process which will end up with you on a Zoom call with my wife, one-on-one. She's investor relations, and she's going to get to know you, what's your investing goals, who you are personally, make sure that we're a good fit, and we'll get you into our process so we can actually share with you our deals. So I highly recommend that you go to kahunainvestments.com and get into the deal room. Be part of our team. Let's get to know each other and break some bread and have some community, and let's create those relationships so we can be able to share our deals with you. And then the next thing is Kahuna Boardroom. Our Kahuna Boardroom is happening in October, and right now we're kind of pre-selling it, and really, like, we're already selling quite a few seats. Now, we only have 60 seats available. We like to put a cap on stuff, especially on an event like this. We normally would only have 35, but we've reconstructed how we're going to set up, and I think this is going to work out even a little bit better, but it's still a very manageable amount. We're only going to allow 60 people in this event. And so, and the reason for that is we cut out having 3 events a year. We're only going to do it two times instead of 3. And this year, it's actually only once. It's just going to be this October. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now, if you are looking to get into multifamily investing, I give you everything. And when I give you everything that I've ever created, all my training and tools, everything I've ever created on a silver platter. We do a lot of done-for-you stuff. We do custom marketing pieces for you. My team, you become family. You come into the Kahuna. We will go above and beyond, and then just support. We're here for you. Anyways, to apply, because it's not you just can't go buy it and say you're in. To apply, go to kahunaboardroom.com and then go click the apply button, and then you're going to again talk to my wife. She's the Gestapo, okay? She has the decision on whether you come in or not. So you got to make sure that you impress my wife if you want to go into our boardroom. And right now we're selling the boardroom for $5,000 instead of our normal price of $7,500. Now that's soon to be changing come August. So in August we're going to change the price. So right now it's $5,000. We can set you up on a payment plan. We will work with you. We just want you, if you're thinking about doing multifamily investing, I'm just telling you, the opportunity is golden right now. It's golden. So you will definitely want to be a part of that. All right. So my the guest that I'm going to have on the show today is very successful in his own right. His name is Paul Lizell, and Paul's been a successful real estate investor since 2001, but he's been rehabbing rental properties back in 1992. And Paul's pretty close to the same age as I am, so when he was doing this, he was doing it with his dad, and he was probably just out of high school. So he has bought and sold over 1,000 properties nationwide during his investing career. He still does it now. But Paul enjoys being able to help home buyers and sellers, as well as improve communities. And he thinks it's just extremely rewarding. He builds long-term relationships with his customers and really creating wow experiences. And more importantly, this is my best part about Paul. And this is where me and him are two birds of the same feather, is that Paul's coached travel baseball for the past 9 years for his 3 sons and has 4 championships as a head coach in both baseball and basketball. See, Paul is he's a full-time dad. He's a guy. He's a dad first, truly. And I admire them about him. But he's made his business work for him. And so today, we're really going to dive into why mindset matters. Because Paul attributes his success in business and investing to coaching, education, and systems. And at the end of all of that is his belief, right? Guys, you got to believe it before you can achieve it. So, guys, put your hands together and help me welcome Paul Lizell. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Corey, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
So, let's just if we can, let's kind of dig into your story a little bit and just kind of give us a little bit of the playing field of where we come from. And today's episode, we really want to talk about mindset and how important that is, especially in times like this.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, totally. So I'll give you a little bit of background on me, where I started in real estate. So we'll go way back to 1993 when I started working for my uncle doing contracting work. And he bought a duplex and a quadruplex, and we gutted these properties, fixed them up, made them look beautiful, right? He kept them, he still owns them to this day, renting them out. He's never bought a property that he's never sold a property, right? He's just buying them, he's keeping them, he's holding them, which is a good long-term wealth model to do. Now for me, when I got started, that kind of got my itch into real estate. So I started in 2001, but my model was a little bit different. I did a fix and flip, right? I was doing that. Yep. Bought a few duplexes, did some holds, did some multi-unit stuff. Then in 2007-8, when that crash hit, I switched my model to wholesaling. Really, in 2009, we went straight to wholesaling with a little bit of fix and flip going on and occasional buy and hold. And the wholesaling was great. Loved it. Windfall. We're coming into the opportunity for that again. We're going to hit maybe another potential 2008, 2009 type of event here where there's going to be opportunities out the wazoo. So, I went from wholesaling, then fixing and flipping again, and still wholesaling, buying and holding again. I had some multi-units, I had some singles. I still do a lot of singles too, right? As well as the multis, but
yep.
Then started doing owner financing too. So I kind of got in a mixture of a whole bunch of different things. Love the idea.
Sometimes it just makes it's like important to like diversify. Even, real estate's a big genre. And, I always say you want multiple streams of income coming in anyways.
Oh, totally. I love this. You got the rental income, which is awesome, right? Now you do have to worry about tenants and toilets with that, which I'm totally fine with. If you have systems in place, you're good with that. I love the owner financing. That's great because you don't have to worry about that stuff. But at the same time, it's a finite period of time where you're getting that income, right? Whether you have it as a 5, 10, 15, or 30-year note. And you're not getting any appreciation on that either. You're not getting depreciation, tax write-offs, or anything like that. So it's nice having those different sources of income, right? As well as the fix and flips. You get a nice chunk of change, and maybe you turn that nice chunk of change into a rental property, right? You put a percentage of that down into your buy and hold portfolio. So it's just super important to be able to do, I think, a lot of different things in real estate and use different disposition methods, right? Depending on what's best for what property and what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about you and kind of what you've done. Because I see a lot of investors out there that only do one thing. Like if their biggest thing is wholesale, that's all they do, and they don't ever think about the long-term aspects of how do I create that passive income, right?
Yeah.
And it really is. It's about taking. You can generate a lot of wealth, but it's also trying to reinvest in things that provides you stable. Like I call it the FU button, right? Your FU meter, and that's passive, right? The stuff that comes in without you having to work for it.
Yeah, and that's the best. And ultimately, that's what we all want to have is that passive income, right? You don't want to have to constantly doing the stress of fixing and flipping and wondering where the next deal is to bring you that paycheck, right? Where when you get that passive income, that's coming in monthly, right? You're always going to have that pretty consistent income. You'll have blips here or there. Have COVID here, like maybe people paying wasn't the same as it's always been, but people get back on track. And overall, that's just your safest, best, most profitable way. That's how you get truly rich in real estate. You're not doing it from flipping. You're getting short-term income with high taxation on it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you're doing the long-term stuff, when you're doing the buy and holds and doing the multi-unit buildings, you get all this depreciation. You can really get your tax basis really, really low. And that's super important.
Oh yeah, well, not pay taxes is a beautiful thing.
It sure is.
Uncle Sam's, he's loyal. He ain't ever gonna cheat on you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think that's what your mindset's always got to be. Ultimately, if you want to get in real estate, you really want to be successful long term. You've got to think buy and hold, because ultimately that's what's going to give you long-term wealth, and that's what's going to give you the best tax benefits, right?
Yeah. When I think of Uncle Sam, I think of Coming to America. I want half, Eddie. I want half. Because that's what it is anymore. I mean, if you really do math and if you're in a high tax bracket, after you get state, local, and sales tax in there, you're really at 50% money.
You are.
Think about that. You're like, so if I made $1 million, scratch that. No, you only made $500,000.
Yes.
That makes you want to cry.
It does. We wrote, and I'm sure you have too, written those checks like, oh my God, I'm paying this much to the federal government, I'm paying this much to the state government. That's where you appreciate living in a state with no income tax, right? I don't know what Arizona's income tax is, but
we have it, but yeah.
Minimal, right?
Yeah, it's not so bad.
It's not like New Jersey where you're 10%, or New York or California where these people are paying 10, 12%, which is outrageous.
I think that's why I transitioned 1,000% into apartments, because of that cost segregation study rule that they have now that is 100% bonus. Yeah. So I've not paid taxes in the last going on my third year now, just because of the depreciation that you can carry forward up front. So that's been a crazy benefit, one that I wasn't expecting, but man, it's a game changer in my opinion. So
sure is. And you can continue that too. You're going to keep on adding different properties here. You'll be adding different apartment complexes, I'm sure, down the road here. So that's something one of your goals and objectives should be, to pay as little in taxes as possible, right? To tax manage.
Yeah.
Do tax management. So
Paul, give me a little bit about your business, because man, I mean, I want everybody to understand that Paul's got a pretty big business. Paul's kind of a baller, in my opinion. I just want to put it out there.
So we do, our business is different than almost anybody else's out there. We deal virtually with real estate, right? So we bought in 44 out of the 50 states. There's a few states we just don't want to buy in, right? Or it's not as profitable to work in. We do a lot of wholesaling in these other states here. And we do some fix and flipping and wholetailing in other states. Like in Tucson, Arizona, I used to do actually pretty large scale rehabbing there, because I have boots on the ground in Tucson. That was a good market. Now that's gotten a little bit too hot. It's hard to find deals in Tucson even now.
Yeah.
But no, we usually do between, say, 60 and 130 deals a year. And I'm trying to scale back now and trying to be a little bit smarter and try to increase my margins, do less deals for bigger profits, right? And then put some of those profits into rentals, which we're really pounding and hitting a rental game, buying duplexes, triplexes, quadruplexes. We're actually doing a lot of fix and flips right now, believe it or not, with multi-unit buildings. And they're in super high demand, especially locally here in my market.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in huge demand. And
are you finding them the same way that you're finding your single family?
So yeah, most of them I'm buying through banks, right? So we buy almost exclusively REO properties, right? So we're buying either on auction.com, Hubzu, Hudson and Marshall's Home, Realty Bid, through HUD Home Store, Fannie and Freddie, and also just traditional REOs that are online that you can purchase. So that's most of what we get. However, I do buy from wholesalers too. There's a couple of multi.
So you're not spending a whole bunch of money outlay for marketing.
Right. Our marketing costs are zero. Every single thing I get, even when I get stuff privately from people, it's through word of mouth, that people that know what I do. And then we do a lot off the MLS too,
God, I
as
love
well.
that. I mean, that was my game back in 08, 09. That's the only game I played. I'm like,
Yes.
listen, I just got in and knew my markets well enough that I could, you're going there every day. Like, hey, look for the new deals and put offers, right?
Your deals at
Offers.
the wazoo then too. Deals at the
Yeah,
wazoo at that point.
yeah. And it was like, the more offers you made, the more chances of getting offers accepted. And
Totally.
it was just a game of, hey man, I got to put in 10 offers to get one deal. So let's put in 30 offers so we can get three.
Yep. It is truly a numbers game with that. And we still do it that way. And we use our VAs to send offers. And, we're getting quite a few off the MLS with that now. And one of the other specialties that we do too, by the way, Corey, we buy a lot in remote areas, right? So we buy in areas where the low-lying fruit, as I call it, right? There's not a whole lot of competition out there.
Yep.
Say like if you're looking at the St. Louis market, go 45 minutes to an hour outside of the St. Louis market, you're going to find a big price reduction, right? A lot less competition out there,
Yeah.
but there's still buyers. So our margins are actually higher in those areas. Our disposition can take a little bit longer too, right? Because we have to be a little bit more tactical about how we're trying to contact buyers to sell there. Because a lot of these places, like if they're remote, if they're in the hills, you have an older population, we actually use the newspaper because they don't go online too much, right? So we still advertise and sell properties in the newspaper or direct mail. We'll do some postcards. We do direct mail to, we'll get buyers lists in these areas and find out who's active, and we direct mail. We sell a lot that way too. Facebook Marketplace, of course, too.
Right.
And we sell a lot through that. But we like the remote areas. We do a lot in those markets.
So on the quads and stuff, I mean, how much rehab do you usually put in those types of deals? Is it a lot, or is it just enough to get it filled up a little bit and then sell it, or?
That depends on my market. So like I got two different ones going on here. I got a triplex in Portland, PA, which is up in the Pocono area, on the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, which is great for the New York market, right? People that want to live there and get tax advantages of living in Pennsylvania, but still commute to New York or North Jersey, right, and work there. I don't have to do that one. I don't have to dial that one up as much to get it, to get that thing rented and get good rents out of it. Where in my area, I'll doll it up. I'll put really nice shaker cabinets in there, granite. I'll put like decorative walls in there and get high-end rents for it. Like for example, like the last two I've done here in the multis, we have 4 1-bedroom units, and they're traditionally the hardest ones to rent, right? And your lowest rents. We're getting $1,350 a month for most of them, and up to $1,400 a month on some of these as well. But what we did was just made them nicer than everybody else's out there. I have the digital keypad entry, so you don't have to fuddle with your key to get into the house. All kinds of nice little upgrades, the outlets with the USB ports and little things like that millennials love. And millennials are renting these things are crazy. Their credit scores are great. Their income's awesome. They could buy my properties, rent out the other unit or other units and have them pay for it, but they don't want to. They want to be mobile.
That's a great little nugget right there, because that's the truth. Millennials, and that they are great. They're a great they're a great renter.
Yes,
they do have good jobs, but they want flexibility, mobility.
They do,
and they don't even believe in owning a home right now.
They don't. It's funny, and I can't convince any of them right now, mindset wise, to do it. And I think they want to be so fluid within their jobs, from what I'm seeing, and also they want to be fluid with where they live, because now even more so, this has become even more so with coronavirus, right? Because people are working from their homes now. They're realizing I don't have to live that close to my work anymore. My job might be permanently. I can work from my home office now. So now the mobility thing, they could kind of live wherever they want. So they can become more mobile. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it really is an interesting game. Man, I love that idea of, and just for everybody listening too, I just want to make a big point. Even though I buy big multifamily apartments, it can be as simple as starting with a duplex, triplex, or quad. Like sometimes I forget that I'm trying to buy 100-unit apartment complexes, but at the same time, 4 units is better than 1.
Right.
2 units is better than 1. Yeah. Anytime you can put more people in the same area and manage them, I think you do well. I think you do really well.
I totally agree with that. I'm actually looking at, and in our areas, there's some of these older buildings where there's 10, 15, 20, 30 units. I'm going to really start to target as we get into this changing market, those properties. I love those because those are ones it's a little less costly for you to change it from maybe a C class to a B class building, do a little upgrades, not as many in there, right? So I'm going to really start to target some of those. I've already been looking at them, and the price points have been like a little bit crazy on some of these, but I think in the next year, we're going to see some, you're going to see changes in the market for sure.
Yeah.
So things will drop, and I want to pick up these left and right, and then also work my way up to the 100 units and those buildings as well.
Well, so that's a great transition into what we really want to talk about, which is mindset and why it matters, right? Because, I mean, we're coming off of COVID, we're coming off of riots. By the time this thing gets published, like there's just a lot of fear and uncertainty everywhere. It's rampant.
World's on fire. It's
yeah, but in that there's also opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so this is where I was just at the gym today. I was talking with some older guys playing racquetball, and their mentality is, it'll never be normal. There is no new normal, right? It's changed forever. And I'm like, no, it's not, man. Like, it's a cycle.
It is. Yep. It's a cycle and it always happens.
And I was just talking to the guy I was playing racquetball, a good friend of mine. He's an investor too. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking about buying, this and buying that. He's like, oh God, why? I'm like, why would you want to buy? I'm like, oh my God, this is when you buy. When there's blood in the streets, when there's fear, when there's uncertainty, you can buy cheaper.
Yes, deeper discounts. This is opportunity zone out the wazoo coming up here for us.
So
I think in the next year or so, we're going to really see that.
Yeah, and so in our mindset, Paul, I mean, I've always said this. Anybody that has a high level of success in anything, right, whether it's sports or whatever, there is something about that person that I think a lot of people either don't have or haven't learned how to activate, right? And I want to just open it up to you. You tell me what that is. What do you have, Paul? What's the mysterious? And I know it's not mysterious, but if you were to think about, what am I doing? Why am I successful as compared to another guy? And because it's not about your choices, it's got to be about something different. I don't know. You tell me.
No, you're right. I think it might be a lot of different things, but part of it is, I think what makes ultra successful people, you look at like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, right? These people are just so ultra competitive, and they will work on the basics over and over again. I think in anything, when I'm coaching my kids in sports, I coach travel baseball and coach basketball and football. I always go over the basics, the fundamentals over and over and over again, right? Because those are the things, when you have the fundamentals down, everything else comes along with it, right? And markets have fundamentals. Our housing market has fundamentals, right? And this happens all the time when a crash hits and a bloodbath happens and everybody's scattered and all the investors leave. That's when there's opportunity out the wazoo. You got no competition. You are picking things up for pennies on the dollar, and there's just so much opportunity. So now's the time you need to ramp up getting private money and having those funds available as much as possible. I'm liquidating a lot right now, a lot of stuff, because I want to have cash on the sideline to really hit this opportunity that's going to be coming up. And I think it's going to start potentially as early as the fall when the PPP money runs out, right? All the helicopter money that the government dropped out on us, and all that. When that
I got some of that.
Yeah, we all got some of that, right? But that's going to eventually run out for some of these companies out there, like these retailers. You're going to see so many bankruptcies, right? And you're going to see commercial market get destroyed. The commercial, not apartment building, right? Because people need a place to live. Commercial as in strip malls, as malls, all these, right?
I'm already on the hunt for that right now in Phoenix. Like I'm like, where's the blood? I think it's in retail.
I think it's in retail too. I agree. And I see conversion potentials come up. Look at malls, right? We got a big mall that was built when I was really young here. That's going to be gone soon. But that could be converted into housing. That could be converted into something with stores built into it, right? Certain stores that restaurants and things that people in that community want. You're already starting to see them built, these promenades. I don't know whether they're doing them out there in Arizona, but we have them a lot out here on the East Coast where apartments all up above. and down below is all commercial, right? It's shopping, it's food,
Trying to make
it's
everything mixed
bars.
use, right? Yeah, trying to
Yes.
put like different tenants up top, retail at the bottom, create its own little economy,
Hmm.
right? That self supports it.
And then you see these malls, they're built for it, right? You could turn them into places to live. You got parking, plenty of parking, and you've also got the retail, and the retailers would love it to have customers built in to where they are, right? So
Yeah.
then the ones that survive, maybe they go into those places. So I'll be really curious to see over the next 10, 15, 20 years what happens to malls.
Dude, I would say malls are probably on the. I mean, I just know they are because like
Yeah.
Amazon can deliver to your doorstep,
Yes.
right?
I love Amazon. I use it all the time.
I mean, don't we all? So
Yes.
you just made reference to The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I've been watching. I just finished that, and dude, it was epic. I'm gonna tell you, I'm actually gonna do some podcasts just talking about everything about that and why his mindset.
Yeah.
And what I loved about it, and this is where I see the parallel for anybody that's successful in business, in sports, right? That was what I was thinking about. You read my mind, so it's great. We both watched the same show. But is not only was Jordan competitive, he was it was like it's this and nothing else matter. Like this is I will figure out a way to win. And when adversity comes at him, whether he was sick, whether he had new teammates, when you have a Dennis Rodman where you got to go to Vegas and pick him up, right? So you got to get back to practice,
Yep.
right? But when he was playing as an individual, he beat all his, that was his own records. But when he started winning championships, he had to have a team focus. And he goes, I'm going to help my team and I'm going to do whatever it takes to lead the way. And it was like no holds barred and holding everybody accountable. And you could just tell he was never going to quit.
Right.
And that's what they kept talking about, the leadership and the drive. I think that's what we possess, Paul.
I agree. I think that's what makes most people successful in any which way, that drive. And they also have a vision, right? And he had a vision. His vision was win, right? Winning at all costs, no matter what.
Be the
whatever he had
best.
to do.
Yes.
Totally.
Absolutely destroy everybody else. And it's funny how he would look for inner games, inner things to challenge him. So, like, if he was playing, but he got mad at a guy or whatever, he found a reason for him to, like, turn it on and show you. That's really what gave him the extra.
Totally. That's what drives, and that should drive all of us too. Like, and
Yeah.
I still play sports. You're playing racquetball today, right? Like, you're getting competitive. You want to win. You don't want to lose to your buddy there.
Yeah.
You know, the bragging rights, right?
Well, he's 65. I better not lose, but he
Yeah,
actually beat
that's
me
true.
today. He's really good. Oh my God. I got beat by a 65-year-old. My man card just got turned in.
When they're crafty, hit the ball in the corner, really make it die, make it you struggle to get there.
I mean, this guy is so good. He just puts it in the right spots. And I'm not going to lie, but today I just felt like I had tennis. So I was like, I couldn't even feel my arm. It was like a freaking wet noodle. And, but anyways, but that's the drive, dude. It's that drive. You have it. I know you have it. I have it. Mm-hmm. And for people that are listening right now, that is the little piece. Is I was playing real estate up until 2009. So I started my company in 2005, Paul. But I can remember vividly, it was the day that I sold out on the idea that I was going to stop playing and I was going to focus. And I just laid out and said, man, threw down the gauntlet, said, from this day forward, real estate is the only thing that, besides my family, that matters.
Right.
But I'll never quit, and I will figure out every obstacle that I come across. I'm going to get away around it.
Yep. And you have, and you've changed. Look at your business has evolved because you did the fix and flips. You did the wholesale thing. And I remember, because we were in the same mastermind group at that point, where you pivoted to the multifamily buildings. I remember we're in a bar there, Collective Genius. Right?
Yeah.
And you were pivoting at that point to really go hardcore into that, which was
to go
awesome.
all in. Yeah.
And you did, and you're super successful at it. And you had a plan, and you were totally driven. You could just see it in your eyes. And I'll tell you the difference. So we have students. You got students as well. I remember having a phone call with our star student, Trey. I'm talking to him for 5 minutes. And I just remember going to Mike, my business partner, and I'm like, this guy's he's a stone cold killer. He's going to do really, really well. He'll hit the ground running like that. Did his first month, he never did this before. 3 deals, right? Buying properties the way we taught him to do it, and he continues to do it. And like he just had it though. You can hear it. He had that hunger. There's a little bit of hunger in him, right? You have to have a little dog in you, right? You have to have a little hunger. You have to have a little drive and fight. And he had it, and he's been successful. And you see the same, and I'm sure in students that you've coached over the years.
I do. It's always the same, and sometimes it takes a while to percolate, right? And just like it took me a while for me to percolate. So we go on these journeys, and sometimes we're not as successful as we want to be. But sometimes you got to ask yourself, have you really sold out to the idea?
Right.
Because sometimes we're just sitting there playing practice shots, and we're not practicing like we should be playing.
There's no purpose, right? You're just doing it. Going through the motion.
You're going through the motions. It's not purposeful, and you're not playing like you'd be in a game situation.
Right.
I always say you got to practice the way you play.
Yes.
Right? If you practice crappy and you think you're going to show up, play great, that's never going to happen.
Never.
And that's the last dance. They're like, dude, Michael brought it. He brought it at practice every day. Bringing it like it's competitive, dude. Yes. And if you can't do that in the daily, in your, when you're working, even though I feel like I got a job, it's my company, but I got to roll it in and I got to play it.
Right.
And I better bring it, or nothing's going to happen.
No, you're the driver of the engine. If you don't bring it, it's not going to happen.
And the roles change, right? So even for you, you got a business, you have staff, you have people.
Yes.
Right. Now you got to be focused on becoming a better leader.
Yeah, it's a key. Become a better leader. Be smarter with your decision making, because we're going to run into tougher times, right? So just be, have a good focus, have a good goal, know what the market's going to do, and how to pivot with it, right? Anticipate. Right. A lot of what we do is we anticipate, right? We've been talking about, Corey, how many years have we been talking about this potential crash happening? We knew there was a potential for it. We just didn't know what was going to be the catalyst. Well, it turns out it's COVID-19. That's the catalyst for it here. So since we've been talking about it and practicing, going over in these masterminds, what do we do as we see this? We're more prepared, right? Your average investor doesn't know what to do.
No. Just think, we've been talking about a crash for probably the last 2 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Hey, we don't know what's going to happen, but listen, if you look at history, we've been doing this thing since 2008. It's now 2018, right? That's a 10-year run. That's a kind of a normal cycle. And it's really good. So like something's going to give, we don't know what it is, but just and we were already talking about being prepared, maybe selling some of those assets, maybe being a little bit more liquid, right? Yeah. Making sure that you're in the right spot because when it comes around, and that's exactly what's happening. Now, I don't think we're there exactly yet. Do you?
Agreed. I agree 100%, right? We're not there yet. We're going to be there soon, but we're not there. We just got so many crazy factors between the coronavirus and now all this crazy rioting.
Well, because and all the money that's is pumping into our economy, it's like a kickstand that's got a fatal flaw in it. Just no one sees it yet.
No, and
that kickstand's going to break.
It is. I'm thinking like this. I'm watching you and I both look at the stock market and stuff like that. You look at the market and what news came out that day, and the market reacts off the news a lot of times, right? So now we're seeing like craziness go on, and the market's still going up. Right? It's going up like it never normally did. So it's so disengaged from normal circumstances right now. But when you pump $6 trillion into a market, when you have the Federal Reserve and Treasury buying junk corporate bonds right now just to keep the market afloat, right? So that's why we're not seeing it yet. It's going to be more towards the fall next year that we'll really see this opportunity come up. Yeah,
I think it's definitely delayed. Yep. But it's coming. Listen, how deep it is, how vicious, that part is still up to debate. But it'll still be better, right? And so, like, the goal is there's still even now there's deals. You're still buying now.
Yes.
Right? But
we're buying a lot right now, believe it or not.
Being selective, but the right deals are the right deals. You can make money on the way down in a market. You can make a lot of money on the way up. But on the way down, you just got to be real smart about what you're buying and have a plan to either offload it quick or to fill it up quick with tenants.
Yes.
That's got to be the plan.
Get a cash flowing, right? Cash flowing as quick as possible. Yeah, we're doing so. The properties I'm picking up right now, we probably picked up 12 in the last 3 weeks, which has been really, really good.
Yeah.
And we're moving them. They're going like this right now. And part of it, because everybody's been locked down and haven't been able to do anything, there's a lot of money sitting on the sideline now. These investors have cash. Their other projects are done and looking for another one. We're getting good margins. We're getting some good $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 margins in some of these things again, which is, I have not seen that over the past year very often, but now it's becoming more consistent. But I know it's only going to be for a period of time. I don't know when it's going to end. So
yeah, and the difference right now is we actually have banking a little bit.
Yeah, right? We do.
The banks are not just disengaged; they're actually engaged. It's different, but they're still banking, and they're still just like cheap money. Now, how long that lasts, I don't know, but like it's in. I mean, I just did a refi, 3.63% on a 10-year note. This is for like, I don't know, $7 million apartment building, but 3.63.
That's insane. You can't get money that cheap. That's unbelievable.
With 5 years of interest only.
Yeah. That is insanity. You can't get rates that low.
I mean, my payment went from like $65,000 to $32,000. Right. I mean, overnight. I'm like, now we're printing money at the property.
You almost doubled your income with that. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That's tremendous. You stash some of that cash, right?
Oh yeah, it's just sitting there. Man, my investors are happy as hell.
Yeah, I bet they are.
And so I guess, and I just see more of that with that cheap money and the opportunities. Because it's about there's everybody's jobs. They're losing jobs. I mean, jobs right now, and a lot of people may not even be coming back to work because we're paying them more money to stay unemployed.
Yes, we're going to hit a new career. I think we're going to hit a really interesting. There's a lot of good things that come out of this Corona, in my opinion. Right, the use of Zoom, people understanding how to do things virtually. Not having to commute as much. I can do more of the telecommuting and stuff, right? So you also have 40 million plus unemployed right now. These people are sitting at home. They're getting their helicopter money right now, but they're coming up with potential business ideas, right? So maybe some new business ideas, some new inventions that'll come out there. There's going to be so much opportunity and so much new technology, I think, coming out over the next decade because of this, that it could end up being a very good positive despite all the negatives that surround it.
Yeah. So Paul, what are you like? What's your MO right now for the next 6 months? Like, what's operations at Paul look like right now? What's the plan?
So right now, what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of my lower level rentals, selling all them off. The ones that cash flow, that spit it off, that have great rates, I'm not getting rid of them. There's no point in doing that, right? Keeping the good ones, getting some cash. And I want to hold on to some of that cash because I know there's going to be great opportunity coming for me to buy and get some of these buy and hold, maybe get a bigger property, or even potentially I'm looking at areas where I can buy land and potentially develop a multi-unit building, right? Which would be awesome, especially when we hit a lower level market there. Hopefully costs come down on labor and materials, who knows? But I'm looking for those opportunities right now. So I still do the wholesaling for the day-to-day function to bring in income, but I still want to continue to build that rental portfolio and still continue to build my owner finance operation. We love doing that. We love selling with owner financing. The right deal comes along, we try to do it so we have no money into the deal as little as possible. Sell some of those notes, keep some of those notes. That's our operation right now, and we're going to keep doing that and keep building our rental portfolio as large as possible and get into hopefully 100+ unit apartment buildings here.
Well, so the name of the game right now is liquidity.
Yes.
If you don't have liquidity, you're going to be screwed. Yeah, you're going to be screwed. Right now it would be like, listen, sell things that you can get you can still sell things and make good profits. Take some of that profits and take them off the table.
Yes.
Take it off the table. Get yourself sound. Make sure you're not trying to increase your expenses, your lifestyle. Right now is not the time to be buying new big ass boats or all that stuff. Be smart, right? Yes. And if you'll be willing to live like no one else for just a minute, you can live with like no one else can for the rest of your life. And that's what I see as the opportunity. In 2008 and 2009, I was still a beginner investor. I'm a seasoned investor now.
Yes.
And I only wish I was seasoned in 2009 and 10 and 8. Because I would have bought so much more and held on to a lot more, right? But
I wish I did. I know I do.
Yeah, but we're coming into a new opportunity, and that's where I'm like, gosh, I want to make sure that I set myself up for the next 1 or 2 years as we go through this little change to set myself up forever.
Ever. Yep.
Forever. Legacy, like kind of stuff.
Totally.
I
So you
think
can
that's
retire.
I think that's where we're both at, is right, just understanding
100%.
that that's the game.
Yep. That's
And
the end game.
if you're new right now, like you just stepped into a wonderful opportunity, which is markets changing, and
Yes.
you may not be hurt. Like there's nothing that you do if you're just coming in. You're new. For the ones that are still, that's been invested for a while, be smart about it. Like take some chips off the table. Get in a position where you have some cash, and then from there, learn to start. Throw out some fishing lines.
Yes, totally. Opportunity out the wazoo coming up here. Get lean and mean, like you said. Now's the time to really look at your KPIs, right? And get your business as lean, mean. If you don't need people, if you have extra people that you really don't need, now's the time to move on from them. Just get focused. Get focused on what the upcoming opportunity is going to give you, because it's going to be great. And get as many private lenders lined up as possible. And right now, there's more opportunity in private lending than you would believe, because some of the lenders I've been using who used to lend to a lot of different people, a lot of people aren't borrowing from them right now. I'm a lot of their only borrowers right now. I'm buying stuff, and they know my model. They like this short-term stuff, right? They know it's not going to be long-term. So there's opportunity out there. Now I'm going to be looking for some more longer-term financing in case some of these other companies shut down, the hedge funds stop lending on 30-year, right? So I'll start looking for more long-term private lenders.
Yeah, long-term private lenders. That's exactly what and listen, they'll understand, and because the one thing I know about private lenders is they hate to lose money. Yeah. And because a lot of them are in the stock market too.
Yes.
And when it goes like that, they hate that. And actually, that's when they give me more money. Give us more money.
Yep.
Right?
100%. We love when the stock market dives. That helps us big time.
So you actually have an education company as well. And I would love for you just to share real quickly what you guys teach and what on that part of what you guys do.
Sure. So it's REO Auction Academy. And what we do, we teach people how to buy properties on online auctions, as well as just traditional REOs and off the MLS. If they want to we still, in 2014, we cut off our direct mail, right? We used to do direct mail. We still teach how to do that. If people want to learn how to do that, that's a whole other level, right? But right now, what we're teaching them how to do is just buy, because opportunities are going to be coming again. REO opportunities are going to be out there at the wazoo coming up here in a couple of years. There's going to be a ton. So now it's time to really get good at that. Get good at buying off the MLS and understanding that process. It's a totally different process than buying from mom and pa homeowner, right? It's a different thing. So we teach how to do that. Then we teach different dispositions, right? We teach, all right, this is a property that's a good one for you to sell with owner financing. You're picking up for $10,000, you're selling to this guy for $30,000, and you're getting $8,000 down, which means you're $2,000 out of pocket, right? Yeah. Keep that one, hold that note, get yourself some wealth there and some monthly income coming in. So we teach them how to do a lot of those different types of things.
Different strategies to figure out what's the best for this property.
Yeah, absolutely. Highest and best use pretty much for each one. And we do some commercial stuff, usually small commercial stuff. We'll do some strip shop stuff. There's right now I picked up a multi-unit where it's, I think it's a television retail store down below and apartments up above it. So we're looking at a lot of that stuff too. And our students pick up occasional deals like that as well.
Well, and so I love just to make sure that because I believe, just like I started off in single family, that's where I started. And if you're new, maybe that's a good place for you to start. But I love the idea, and I truly believe in this concept because I know it works. It's how I started, is, to find deals on MLS and all the places you just talked about. All that takes is grit and a little bit of work. You just have to hunt every day and put in offers. And for someone that doesn't have any marketing dollars or budgets, it's a great way to get a couple deals on the line and make some money. From there, and that gets you into the game. Now you're in real estate, and then you start playing the games for short-term stuff. And also, but this is my biggest problem, is a lot of people don't teach the long-term aspect. And so you got to start putting some stuff in for forever money, that long-term passive income, whether it be notes, rentals, or something like that that's going to get you a monthly income that you can count on. And it sounds like what you guys are doing.
Totally. It's so important to have, like, But last year I really built my rental portfolio up against, the rental income, couple 100,000, the note income over 100,000, the flip income, and then you got a few 100,000 more of the flip income. Then you got the wholesale income. So it's having all those different arms of income coming in that are great, because like it sucks when you're just fixing and flipping and you get a paycheck and then you're waiting 3 or 4 months for another paycheck as you dwindle that money down, right? That's why it's important to do a lot of different other things. And eventually you get to where you just buy a big apartment complex, right? You have enough money to put down, buy that apartment complex, and now you've got that monthly income, and that takes care of the income maybe you need for living, right? And now you want to get more for other stuff.
Yep. Awesome. So how do they find you, brother?
So they can reach out to us at reoauctionacademy.com. That's probably the best way for it to catch up with us. They can just fill out a form there, and if they want to talk to us more about our program, we would love to talk to them.
Cool. Real quick, just a couple quick questions here. Best book that you've read in like the last 6 months that's really helped move you a little bit?
Let me see. I'm trying to remember the name of the one right now. I was just reading. I'm blanking on it. 1984, believe it or not, because I hadn't read that since, I guess, probably grade school. And I forgot so much of that book, and it feels like we're living 1984 in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
That was good. It's not a business one, right? But it's one to put in perspective, like, crap, where are we heading? What direction are we going in? Because we're going in the wrong direction right now, for sure.
And what's your last piece of advice to all the listeners out there listening? What would you want to tell them?
Get ready for the future. The buying opportunity is here, right? The opportunity is now. Now's the prep time. Like we talked about, like right now is not the opportunity to buy, but 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road, that opportunity is going to be there, and it's going to hit you so fast and furious. You need to be ready for it. So now's the prep time. If you're already investing, get rid of the stuff that you don't want. Get that cash on the sideline. Be ready to pick up stuff you do want.
Oh, that's sage, dude. Guys, listen. Hopefully you enjoyed this with Paul Lizell. Paul, thanks for coming on the show and really just
thanks for having
your
me,
wisdom. Corey. I really love what you've done, because a lot of times I have if I have fix and flippers or wholesalers in there, if they're just a one-trick pony. I love because I know that you live this. You have really a lot of different tentacles out there playing the game for long term, right?
Yes.
And there's no just one solution strategy. It's really, hey, I've got this bucket, I got this bucket, and I think that's more important now than ever. And because you have it, gives you a lot of clarity and safety and surety that you're going to weather all these storms that come in and be fine and be able to be on the other side to make great moves.
Yeah, we're prepped for it. We know it. We know it's going to happen. Like I said, we've had conversations like this over the last couple of years. So we've been prepping for it, and we were looking forward to the opportunity. We know we kind of cringe because people are going to be suffering at the same time.
Yeah.
But there's great opportunity for us out there, and hopefully we can create some real great long-term wealth from this.
That's it. Well, guys, listen, if there's anything, mindset does matter. What you put and feed into your brain, how you talk to yourself, what's your belief in yourself and belief in your systems and your team and your people, it all matters. If you're not feeding your mind with positive affirmations, guys, you're missing out. Because if you believe it, you can achieve it, and your paradise is possible.